Hello everyone. In this video, I am going to show you how to set the local Jupyter Notebook environment for development of Apache Spark along with the other Spark packages in Windows with the help of Python and the Python installations. So many of you will be struggling to set the same environment locally, but will be working fine with the cloud environments because environments provide a lot of installations beforehand. So when we are doing this in locally, we might be facing a lot of issues. So I have been collecting a lot of issues and have got a very streamlined procedure of what to be worked on to cope up with all these issues and have a smooth development environment. So for this video, we are going to require the Python, which must be having the Jupyter Notebook for development purposes, along with PySpark and any of the Spark third-party packages for making use of Spark quite efficiently. So I'm going to demonstrate the same video with the help of the third-party package called as Sedona, for mostly used for geocomputational calculations. The other thing that we require here is Java because most of the Spark and the other third party libraries of Spark make use of the jar files that are already developed in Java. So we need to have the SDK installed in our laptop. So the Java must be having the SDK along with the key tool, which is going to be used for installing the third party certificates and the browser certificates to make sure that there won't be any kind of issues while downloading the jar files from the Maven central repository. The third one that we need is the Hadoop WinUtils. So this was developed by some open source guy to make use of the Spark with the help of the Hadoop, which is going to be Windows compatible. Actually, this is developed in Linux, so that got compatible with Linux. But for making use of the same project to be Windows compatible, we need to make sure that we need to install the Hadoop WinUtils and have to set the path. I will be showing you how to do that in the further of the video. The other one are the certificates that we have to install from the browser, and for the purpose of demonstration, I have created a sample CSV file. If you already have any kind of Parquet data, then you can directly use the Parquet data instead of reading the CSV. So these are the steps that I'm going to follow for the throughout the video. We are going to check for the installations, and if there are no installations, we are going to do some pip package installations. We are going to download the certificates and then WinUtils and put it in the bin folder. Going to check for the Spark environment variables and then do a sample program execution. I already have the code written in the Jupyter Notebook and I'm going to show you the cell execution line by line. So while I was developing a Spark code, I just found out a lot of issues like we have got a lot of Py4j error and a lot of JVM issues. Most of the issues are like related to Spark, and Spark is not able to initialize well enough, and there are like SSL handshake exceptions when when we are actually going to download the jar files from the Maven repo. We we are actually getting this handshake exception because our browser is not able to communicate well with the JVM, the virtual machine present in our laptop. Yeah, there are a lot of issues, and the same issue is continued. There is an issue called as Java Gateway Exited. This video is gonna help you if you are also facing these kind of issues. So these are the 12 resources that I have found useful and which helped me to land me with this video. Without further ado, let's get started. So I have prepared a keynotes. So I'm going to go through all these steps line by line, and then we'll make sure that our environment is going to be compatible with the Spark and the other third-party packages. Open the command prompt and just check for whether the Python is already installed in your system or not. Where Python. So here you can see that the Python 3.11 is already installed in my system. If not, you can go forward and install the Python, and this is going to be steps after installing the Python. You also must be having the pip along with the Python. So with this pip we are going to install the packages. Pip install Jupyter and then PySpark and then Apache Sedona. I have already installed, so it is going to show me that requirement has got already satisfied. And then when I do the pip list, okay, you can see that PySpark has already been installed here. So the version that it has already got installed is 3.5 and the latest version is also 3.5. I would like to show you that I have already installed the Jupyter. So we can either use Jupyter Lab or Jupyter Notebook. I'm very much convenient with Jupyter Lab, so I'm going to demonstrate the same with the help of this. And now let's get started with the new IPyNB file. I'm going to open CMD from the directory where I have the IPyNB file along with the sample data.csv, and I'm going to open that with Jupyter Lab. Yeah. So we can see that a notebook called as Spark practice.ipynb has already been opened. So there's a data.csv file which contains the sample data. So in this notebook, first we are going to print out all the required environment paths which are going to be used along the execution, because these environment variables are really required, because Spark is going to grab the requirements based on the paths that are pointing to these variables. Let us print all this: Spark home, PySpark, Python, Hadoop home, Java home, PySpark driver, Python, and PySpark submit args. So we can see that most of them are not already set except the Java. I have already installed the Java SDK in this particular path. So to see where I have installed, I can execute the command where Java. So this has already been installed, as because this, and along with this the Python is the prerequisite. Okay, so the first step that we need to do is to get the find Spark package as well. To do that, we have to do pip install find Spark. This is also already installed by me beforehand. So along with the other pip installations, you have to include this as well. So after going to do this pip install, we need to write the statement pip import find Spark and then find spark.init. This is going to actually grab the uh, PySpark installation from anywhere that is present in our system. Mostly we are using Python, so we are going to make use of PySpark. So this findspark.init would actually set this Spark home variable with the Spark installation that we already have. So when I run this, it is going to run successfully. So it got completed. Then we are going to execute the above cell as well. So when we do this, Spark home is set to the PySpark installation that is present in the site packages, and the Spark which is going to make use of the Python that is present is in the root Python installation, that is Python 3.11 python.exe, and these two are like optional. So if the video process is still not working with you, you can actually play with the above cell that is present here by like commenting and uncommenting out any kind of variable setting and then execute the same. So for me, it was working fine with or without uh, setting the values for these variables. So the only uh, unset variable here is the Hadoop home. So Hadoop home is really required because for the Spark implementation to be compatible with the Windows. To do that, we need to go to this GitHub repo, uh, stevelogran/winutils. I'm sorry if I pronounced wrong. Over here, he has implemented a Hadoop binary system for making the Spark to be compatible. So the Spark and Hadoop goes hand in hand. So for both to be compatible with the Windows, we have to just click on the releases and go inside the binaries. We see the source code along with the zip files. Right now we no need to have the source code but only the binaries. So when we click on this, we get the zip file. So when you extract, you have this Hadoop 281 folder with all these lib files and the DLL files along with the exe file. So these are very much useful for us to do any kind of read-write operations or anything that we do along with the Windows operating system specifically. So for this to be working, we have to create a new folder called as bin and then cut all the files and paste it in the bin folder. And then go back of the bin folder, copy the path of this without bin and then open the environment variables. Click on environment variables. Over here in the system variables, we have to click on the new and then Hadoop home as the variable name. The variable value must be the root directory of the Hadoop 2.8.1, the venutils. Click on OK, and the same Hadoop home you have to use it in the path. So double click on path and then click on new and then use the same variable Hadoop home percentage, and then here we have to point to the bin directory /bin to make sure that WinUtils is going to be accessible throughout the laptop. And click on OK, OK, and then OK. Close the current Jupyter session and then close this terminal. Open all the closed terminals again and then start the Jupyter session again. Yes, so after opening a new Jupyter session and when we run this second cell, here we can see that the Hadoop home has been set here. So to set the other Spark related, we have to execute the find Spark and then execute the first one, Hadoop. So here all the required environment variables are already being set. I can actually execute all the other setting of environment variables with the help of this percentage env rather than putting it directly in the system environment variables that I was showing previously. But this was actually not working, so I was actually showing you that directly rather than this. So after doing the find spark.init, we have to create a Spark session telling that the local system is going to be the master node and the app name is going to be the PySpark shell. It is going to either create a new session for us or get the previous sessions that are already uh, been working on. So this is getting executed. At last of this execution of this cell, I'm going to print the Spark variable. The Spark variable is actually going to have this link for the Spark UI where we can see all kind of jobs that are being run by the Spark. along with the other configurations and most of the things related to Spark. So the version is 3.5 and all the things that we are actually going to pass as a parameter are reflected here. And if you click on Spark UI, we can see that a small web application is running, it, which is going to show what kind of stages are getting run, what are the jobs that are getting run currently, and the others. So I already have this data.csv in the directory where I'm running this Spark Jupyter-Notebook, and then I'm going to read this CSV with the help of the Spark object, and then make a write operation as well. Okay, so we can see that there's a table with name and the particular geometry. So the geometries that are right now supported by any of the map systems can be of line string or polygons or multi-line strings or multi-polygons, or can be anything that are not listed out here. So in the same way, we are actually going to see this in the cloud environments, for example, Databricks. So Databricks is going to use the command display in the cloud environment. To make use of the same display locally as well, we have to set the Spark configuration and then make use of this import statement, ipython.display import display. Yes, till here we can see that Spark is already set and working fine. So to use third-party packages along with Spark, for example Sedona, we just need to follow the instructions that are present in the Sedona documentation. So this is a code snippet that I have grabbed it from the documentation. So this statement over here config is actually going to set the sparks.jars.packages variable that is present in the configurations of the Spark with these two jar files that are present in the Maven central repository. For this to be working along with the Spark, we can directly download the packages that are present here in the command, manually download it and put it in the jar files that are present in this Spark installation. The Spark installation is actually present here. Lib side packages and then PySpark. Over here, PySpark, you can see that there is a folder called as jars. Over here, we have all the required jars that are used for the execution of the Spark, but not the other third-party libraries, for example, Sedona. So for that to work, we can actually do that in two ways. You can download the files from here in the documentation of the install Sedona Python. Over here, we can see that there is a code snippet that I am using it in my notebook. So you can see that the step one is actually going to provide the links for these two jar files. When I open one of the link, it would actually be reflecting to the web page or the repository of the Maven where we are going to have this Spark Sedona packages, the jar files. In the same way, the other jar files are for the GeoTools wrapper with the version number and the artifact numbers. So we can manually go inside that and then download based on the version that we require. I am showing this for an example. Sedona Spark shaded.jar. Sedona Spark shaded. We can go into the version that we require and then install the jar files over here and paste the jar files in this PySpark jar files. After that, we can execute this cell directly. But without doing any kind of manual downloading and manual copy pasting of the jar files. We can directly install this with the help of this command.